Hello guys, and welcome back to Growing with Isotope. It's currently the 11th of June and it's been about a week since I recorded a video. This is the Isotope Poblano Gold. That singular pod is still on here, still waiting for that to ripen. Imagine it's still about a couple of weeks off, but looking forward to seeing what colour it ripens to and being able to taste that one. Might be the first pod that I get to taste this year, who knows. That in the back there is the Matapino. Struggling a little bit because it's so white, but I'm keeping it under these Barina LED light fixtures here. They're quite low power. I think each one is about 8 watts, 8 or 10 watts. So you can see, even though it's a low powered light, some of the leaves on the Matapino are a bit crispy. But there are some flower buds coming in very slowly. Still about a month out, I reckon, from full blown flowering, but I will keep at it and see what I can get out of it. So you can see down here I finally got around to putting my Aji Trinity plants in these 1 litre pots. These are new pots. They're not the sturdiest things in the world by any means. I wouldn't really necessarily recommend them, but they were bought out of a necessity rather than an upgrade. I just had too many plants in the 7cm pots. They're way too small. Let me see if I can find one to show you. You can see the size difference. We're going to get a much bigger plant growing in this than we are in this, and the compost that I've potted everything into is clover compost. I've just mixed it with some slow release, some perlite, and in some cases as well I've bought a product called, let me grab that, superphosphate. The slow release pellets that I was using was actually really low on phosphate. It was like 24 and then 17 or something like that. So I just bought the superphosphate just to get that phosphate number up, get the P number up. Hopefully will actually make a difference and I'll see some stronger roots, which I think might have been kind of my problem with the silver grow. If you remember earlier in the season, the roots were dying back from a lack of water. That could have actually been because of a lack of phosphorus, so hopefully we'll see a bit of a difference. I mean, we're using clover. It's a peat based compost, so but I'm not feeling too guilty about it because my plants are growing fine. And yeah, as you can see over here, I've potted up the Aji Trinity. This is the Aji Trinity forest over here on the left. All my Aji Trinity plants are over here. I've got 9 of them. I'm keeping 9. I'm putting a 10th one outside just to see how it does. Again, it's the 11th of June and it's been 12, 13 degrees outside. It's really not June temperatures. So everything outside that isn't undercover is really struggling. I'm hoping that the temperature will gradually increase rather than just switch to full-on heat wave mode, but I don't think we're going to have that luxury this year. I think if we get a heat wave it'll be absolutely devastating, because obviously temperatures going from 0 to 100 that quickly, plants aren't going to be very happy. But anyway, enough of the doom and gloom. The indoor grow is looking absolutely brilliant, because we can control the temperature, we can control the light, and we can control the watering. So yeah, this is the Aji Guyana cross Black Bikino cross Aji Trinity F1. I'm seriously losing track of what peppers are involved in what cross. So yeah, last year I crossed Aji Guyana with the Black Bikino and I used that plant, the F1, as the mother, and I chucked pollen from the Aji Trinity F1 onto it, and then that created this F1, and these pods coming out very large. They're quite long. The only thing that really tells me that there's any Chinense genes in this is the kind of texture of the outside of this pod. It's got kind of matte finish on it, whereas the Guyanas by themselves, they were quite shiny. But yeah, we're getting some kind of cool shapes, kind of little tails on it. Be interesting to see if that comes out of F2 as well. But we're still quite a way off. I think anything using the Guyana as the mother, or even the father, in this case, the mother and the father, oh my god, seems to take 2 months ripening time. So right from the flower pollination through to ripe fruit, that's about 60 days. Whereas conventional chinenzas, anyams, even other bactums, you're only really looking at 30 to 40 days usually, but the Guyana has an especially long ripening time. So yeah, it's a bit of a patience tester in that regard. Another plant over here in the back that is not really producing any pods yet is the Tiberius Mola caramel. You can see plenty of flowers going on. You can't really see, hold on. Plenty of flowers, plenty of pollen in the flowers, but no pods yet. I've been feeding them chili focus in the hopes of hopefully loading them with nutrients enough to get some pods out of them, but there's been nothing yet. You can see here on some of these older leaves they're looking a bit pale. That could be from underwatering, because that is silver grow in the base there, or it could be from nutrient deficiency, I don't know yet. But yeah, the Aji Trinity plants are looking really good. A few of them have got kind of like yellowy burnt leaves. That's just from growing into the Barina lights on the shelves. Not really much I could have done about that other than pop them up sooner, but I just didn't have the time. I've been so busy recently. But yeah, over here we've got the forest of peppers, and in the back you can kind of see it. We've got a Kangstar Lemon Starburst pod. So that's the first Kangstar Lemon Starburst plant that I've grown that's actually produced a pod. And believe me, I've tried a few times. Yeah, the 3rd year in a row I think I'm growing it. Finally got a pod out of it. In here as well we've got Tirani. The plant looked like absolute crap for so long, and it still does. It's still got curled leaves. I've tried giving it CalMag, I've tried giving it bloom nutrients, I've tried everything, but yeah, you can see there, kind of see that the calyx on these flowers is very weird. It's like almost kind of melted. I've never seen that before, so that's quite a unique trait. And in the back there we've got the Kansas Gator Jigsaw Chocolate. No pods on that yet. I had to cut it back quite a lot to get it in the pot because the roots are coming right at the bottom of the solo cup, and I've put it in one of those 1 litre pots just to make my life easier when it comes to watering. I can bottom water everything. Somewhere in here we've got the Pimenta Barra de Ribeiro. Small pods at the moment, but lots of them. Lots of little flowers. I'm just hand pollinating this every day. The Jay's Pink Reaper Lemon over here. No pods, just a ton of drop flowers. So yeah, even with my hand pollinating, even with the nutrients that I'm giving it, it's not really producing anything, unfortunately. This is an Orion flower, so I've pollinated that one, so hopefully that comes out with something. And yeah, my compost tests over here are looking rather good. So this one is the Aji Trinity F2 in Rocket Grow. Compost that was recommended to me on the PLC Discord, showing no signs of deficiencies yet. Nice dark green foliage, roots coming out the bottom. I'm happy with that so far. This one is in the Barbie compost, so that was the suspiciously cheap bags of compost that I had delivered by a man and a lady in a van. It sounds very suspicious. They were delivered in black bin bags. It was very much like unbroken down material, quite twiggy. I don't know if you can see in the bottom there, not the best looking compost, but actually, to be fair, this plant's quite far along compared to the others, so it's working so far. And this one in the back is the clover compost. It's probably the darkest green out of all of them, but it's had the least amount of growth on the top. So yeah, very interesting results on the compost test so far. I know clover works, so it's really only my control. But yeah, you can see the difference there. What do you think? So we're out here in the back garden. You can see the tomatoes there. You can see things maybe aren't in the kind of place they should be this time of year. Strawberries looking good, possibly variegated still. A few slug holes. That's lemon balm in the back, and my basil just here. Some mint in the bottom. Basil hasn't really done anything since putting it out. Some more strawberries there. Not really much going on with them. My mint is looking okay. Variegated sage is doing alright. The thyme is flowering quite nicely. You can see that in the middle there. And the curry plant is going absolutely crazy. And here's the orange balm from Steve. And moving over to my cucumber plant, it looks a bit distressed, I think, from being kept outside. Just the horrible weather that we're having. You can see it doesn't look particularly happy. There isn't that much new growth. There are a few flowers. Got absolutely toasted by the sun. So I'm battling with all kinds of things at the moment. You can see there are some flowers which hopefully will open and produce some cucumbers very soon. And my tomatoes. So it's kind of a mess at the moment. There's a lot of different tomato plants sort of entwined together. Very few flowers, very few tomatoes so far. My stick tomato though is doing quite well. Lots of flowers on that, and quite a few tomatoes as well. I can see some of the leaves look a bit crispy. Not really sure what caused that. I think being splashed by water from the gutter probably didn't help. But yeah, you can see plenty of healthy growth there. And on the other tomatoes as well, in the other planter, plenty of flowers, plenty of tomatoes coming in. So looking forward to trying all the different kinds of tomatoes I've got going on. A few rough looking leaves, but that's to be expected really with the summer that we've had so far. Lots of trusses without any tomatoes on. It's probably due to poor pollination. And the cucumber plant there, not producing anything yet, but it is growing nice and healthy. Branches, so that's great. My fennel is starting to grow really well now. Won't be long before it flowers. I've been taking little branches off that and eating it. It's very nice. Fennel's one of my favourite herbs. The condor potato, not doing too great. Probably doesn't get a lot of light in that bag. But the rest of the potatoes are looking okay. They've probably been a bit on the dry side because we don't have much rain. That is a wild Baccatum, I think cap 215 potentially, which is actually looking alright. And yeah, you can see it's been quite blowy as well. We've had quite a lot of terrible weather. Even the potatoes haven't grown well, and even them have been munched on by slugs at various points throughout the season so far. But yeah, it hasn't been great. You can kind of see just the extent of how the potatoes look, and the garlic's doing okay. And yeah, you can even see the lavender looking very yellow and crusty. It has not been a good year. Every plant imaginable has had a sort of yellow tinge to it, just because of loads of rainfall early in the season and followed by drought for about 2 months before we had really any meaningful rainfall. At the time of recording this video, we haven't had any meaningful rainfall in a while. You can see even my oregano looks kind of bad, and the parsley as well, that's gone to seed, but it looks incredibly yellow, not very healthy. It's probably just no nutrients left in that soil. There's a little bug in the centre there. And you can kind of see the plant that's draping over, that's my anise. The marigolds aren't doing too badly though. My orange scorpion is yellow still. Has not grown a single new leaf since it's been put outside. Absolutely having the worst time outdoors. It's just been too cold. Been absolutely freezing. Lows of 9, loads of even 7 degrees some nights in June, which really does not help things at all. But my cool weather crops, like my beetroot, doing fantastic, and the fennel that I've got growing there, or dill, I can't identify which it is yet. My turnips, they're doing fantastic. They're cool weather loving crops. They're absolutely loving it. Plenty of clover as well, kicking around. The super boot is just as yellow as the orange scorpion. There's just absolutely no saving it at this point. Just gonna be a stump left over. That is the buzz button. It's not looking great. But the turnips are looking fantastic. And yeah, plenty of clover in the middle there. Zabrangier, it's kind of had a bit of new growth going on recently at the bottom. Can't see it just there. A few flowers up top, nothing's turned into a pod yet, which is probably for the best really. The Chiltepin cross lemon drop, plenty of flowers on that, but no pods yet. The branches and the leaves, they look terrible. It's just been too cold. The Tiger Fang F2, which I'll show you in just a minute. It probably looks one of the best out of all the Chitensas outside. It's got a fair few flowers and pods, small pods on it. Nothing great yet out of that plant. Yeah, it's still just bigger than my hand, so absolutely tiny. But plenty of flowers coming in, so at least we got them to look forward to. And some more dill / fennel there. And more beetroot and radishes dotted around the place. Absolutely loving it. So the Brazilian Starfish Yellowgrass Sugar Rush Peach F4 is not looking great. Lots of curled leaves. It's just too cold. And the Aji Flormerado, Aji Santa Cruz Cross Purple Flower Bactum at the back there looks very nice. I actually got a couple of pods coming in on that now. You see flowers turning into pods, which is great. But again, the plant doesn't look that healthy. Some of the flowers that I planted are looking alright. Turnips looking great. And the Guardian Frog is doing its job. Because we have lots of pea pods and flowers at the moment as well. When the weather warmed up for a bit, that pea plant did really take off. And the Belize bonnet, it looks terrible. Yellow at the top, and the few flowers that are opening are just dropping off. It's not growing. It hasn't really grown since putting it outside, unfortunately. But yeah, that's the state of the back garden. Hoping for some more warmer weather to maybe try and help things along. But I think for the most part it's too late. These plants have done absolutely nothing since putting them outside. I'm not going to give you too many spoilers, but when I'm recording this voiceover, not much has changed. But if I spin you around, I can show you the different flowers that we've got going on, which are very nice. We've got dianthus, we've got these purple kind of miniature snapdragon looking things. I think they're a weed, but they're actually really nice, so we kept them in. That pink flower is a wild geranium, excellent, and the yellow flowers in the back, that's my variegated nasturtium. I think the pink and the yellow works very well together, so probably going to be a permanent addition to the garden. Good afternoon, pepper lovers, and welcome back to another update. So, it's been a couple of weeks. Again, I've been very busy with work, different things, stuff going on at the allotment, that kind of stuff. So, sorry for the lack of updates throughout the month. It's currently the 27th of June. But look at this. We've had some absolutely fantastic growth on the Kangstar Lemon Starburst with actually a few pods in there, looking fantastic. There is one pod just up here which looks the most like a Kangstar Lemon Starburst out of the pods that I've had so far. And also on the plant next to it, the Scorpion Douglas, then we've got a pod. So yeah, very happy with that. Looks true to type, looks very much like the dried pods that Kansas Gardener sent over. Not looking forward to tasting that bad boy. That's going to be one hot pepper. And yeah, moving on over here, we've got the Isotope Poblano Gold. Isotope, again, not a variegated sugar rush peach. Capsicum annuum called variegata, crossed with a sugar rush peach, and then that was crossed with a Poblano to make this. And yeah, we got some strange looking pods going on. That one's kind of pointy. This one's kind of stout. It's got 2 lobes. Sorry, you can't really see that. It's kind of stout. It's got 2 lobes. The one pod down here, if I can find it. Again, it's got a couple of lobes on it, so it's really hard to point the camera in the right direction in here. But yeah, the phenos are all over the place, so probably not going to save seeds from that. Only will if it tastes good. And yeah, my Matapino plant hasn't really changed much since the last update. It's still looking okay. I think the stems are starting to thicken up now, so hopefully we'll see some growth soon. But yes, looking good, looking very good. And moving on over here, oh my god, it's a jungle. So we've had some 30°C weather over the last couple of days, and that has really caused these plants to go into overdrive. I can't really get in there and show you what's what at the moment, but I can give you a sort of rough overview, I suppose. So down here you might notice some colour. We have our first ripe pods of the year. Fantastic. So this is the Aji Guiana cross Black Bikino cross Aji Trinity F1. So as you can see, it's ripened yellow and it's an F1 involving 2 red parents. How the hell does that work? Well, stay tuned for crossing with Isotope and you might find out. Then again, you might not, because I don't really know the answer right now. We'll see. So this plant here behind it is the No Heat Primo, and you can see just about in there there's a pod forming, and also here there's a pod forming. And I don't know about you, but that's looking better. The pheno that I had last year was kind of flat, just a blob. That looks like at least it might have the beginnings of a stinger on it, so I'm happy to report that I might be getting some decent phenos off of that plant this year. And I think this branch here is an Aji Trinity, so get out of the way. But here in the back, Tiberia Smaller Caramel, absolute ton of flowers, no pods. I've been shaking the plant, I've been pollinating the flowers manually, just can't get any of them to stick. It's so annoying. Of course, I'm not really too upset about it, because that means I won't have to eat potentially the hottest pod that I'm growing this year, so that is good. But of course you all want to see that, don't you? Here, this little dense forest is Aji Trinity F2s. We've got flowers opening all over the place, left, right and centre. We've got pods coming in. Yeah, we can see just got loads of them, loads and loads, and that's a pod in there. The flower again, a flower. I don't know how I'm going to hand pollinate all of these, because that's going to be cross contamination. I want them to self pollinate. Don't really want to use pollen from other plants if I can help it. I'm not really sure what the hell's going on with these leaves. They're all in exactly the same compost mix, and they all get exactly the same amount of water because they're all in a big tray. And I haven't been feeding them any liquid nutrients, so the possibility of burning is quite low. So yeah, not really sure what's going on with that. The odd 1 or 2 plants being drama queens. Over here we've got more Aji Trinities. These ones are in solar cups in the compost test. So this compost at the back is the Rocket Grow, the biggest plant that I've got right now. It's certainly got a lot of flowers and little pods coming in on it. Yeah, this pod seems to be sticking, so all good. This one in the middle is the Barbie compost. All things considered, it looks quite good. I expected that one to flag maybe a little bit. But yeah, look at that. Look at that. So much pollen. So much pollen. And yeah, this one on here is the clover compost, which I don't know. What do you think? Looks the darkest green to me. And yeah, the pods are all sticking, so I'm happy with that. And then in the middle here we've got at the back that plant in the corner there is the Kansas Gator Jigsaw Chocolate. I don't think there's any pods on that, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a couple. That plant in the middle there is my favourite Bactum at the moment, the Pimenta Barra de Ribeiro. Absolutely lovely taste on that. Can't wait to get a review out to you guys this year. And in amongst it is the Tirani with a weird calyx going on. Just basically keeping an eye on that one. It could be a potential cross, but it also could just be how they normally look. And yeah, so in terms of this, at the front we've got Primo Lucifer XL from Spicy Llama. There are quite a few little pods coming in on this one. Look at that. There's one here. Don't know if you can see that. Probably not. There's one here. That's getting quite big, that pod. So I'm very happy with that. Very, very excited to try the Primo Lucifer XL. From what I've seen, it's an absolutely lethal pod. So yeah, looking forward to trying it. Up here we've got the Jay's Pink Reaper Lemon. I've been pollinating these flowers for probably a couple of months now. Absolutely nothing, not one single pod that I've seen. And also in amongst it all is the Orion. That's this dark foliage plant up here, just sticking out the top there. Again, nothing going on there. But what we do have are a couple of Dark Lemon Starburst F4 pods. Look at these. These look fantastic. I genuinely, what a great shape for a pod. And what a nice coloration as well. It's lovely. Really happy with that. But yeah, everything in here is doing absolutely fantastic. I've had the fan on full blast just to try and cool them down, and I think it's had a good effect on the pollination. Keeping them watered is quite the task, but at least they are just taking plain water, so I can get that straight out of the tap. So yeah, over here in the windowsill we have the Aji Guyana Cross Variegated Sugar Rush Stripey M2 F1, and look, beautiful pods. They've turned red. Maybe one of the first Eating with Isotope episodes you see later this year. It's going to be hard keeping the flavour and what I think about it to myself, but these are just F1s, so I'm not really too concerned about the flavour of these things. Project Leopard Reaper Revival looks a bit disgusting because of all the dead fungus gnats that came out of the soil, but it's going really well. This is a very big plant now. I'm very happy with it. So we're going to get Leopard Reaper back in stock, and it's going to, yeah, it's going to be great. And then moving on along, again, we've got a pretty much right pod. I'm not sure if that's the final colour we're just going to go. Sorry if the exposure is a bit off, it's a bit sunny right now. But yeah, we've got the Aji Guyana Cross Black Bikino Cross Variegated Sugar Rush F1. And look at the plant structure, I love it. For anyone that said Bactums grow like a vine, if you cross the Bactum with a Chinense, you get some crazy results. That's crazy. Look at that. This one is my backup Variegated Sugar Rush Stripey. It looks the healthiest. For some reason, this plant, which is my main Variegated Sugar Rush, look how tall it's got, but also look at the lack of leaves. This plant has been dropping leaves. I'm not really sure why. It could be a lack of nutrients or something like that, but I can't really put my finger on why. So I've started giving it hydroponic nutrients now, so hopefully that causes it to perk back up again. But yeah, the leaves kind of go, let me find one, they kind of go crispy at the edges and then drop. I don't know why that is, but the good news is it doesn't matter because we have a pod. So hopefully that one will go on to produce seeds. I can get the M4 started. We're not going to have M5 seeds this year. I was always going to be optimistic. but I'm not going to release it until I'm happy with it. So you guys are going to have to wait, I'm afraid. Welcome back to the outdoor portion of this video. Here's my sweet potato. You can see it's doing very well. There's some grass seeds knocking about in that pot on the left. The oregano is going to seed. The rhubarb has been growing quite slowly, but since we removed a couple of leaves, it's picked back up again quite nicely. And autumn's variegated, possibly variegated strawberry, looking very good. It's putting out a lot of runners this year, and my mint as well, doing much better than in the first part of the video. Variegated sage is absolutely beautiful. I love the variegated sage, and the thyme is doing very well as well, as is the orange balm. And the curry plant at the back there has gone crazy. Now moving on to the tomato planters, as you can see, it's quite a mess at the moment. There's lots of leaves everywhere. The cucumber plant is growing quite tall. I think it's actually starting to recover from the initial shock of putting it outside. As you can see, there's a lot of cucumber on it there, ready to be picked. And yeah, I'm hoping that it really kicks into life in the coming days. Moving over to the next portion of the plant, there's so many tomato flowers. It's really good. The stick tomato putting out lots of flowers, lots of little tomatoes. Tomatoes in general this year haven't been so great because of the weather. You can see the cucumber melon in the back there. It's looking good there. My fennel has come on quite strong. I think it might be trying to flower soon. The condor potatoes in the bag from Digwell, they are looking very good. They're flowering early. Probably not enough light in that bag, but that's a lesson learned for next year. And the wild Baccatum as well is definitely looking stronger than it did earlier in the month. And the potato bags in general, they look quite good. Maybe a bit underwatered throughout the year, if you can believe it. The lavender there is perked up, which is excellent. Oregano in this planter is looking quite good. Parsley's still looking yellow, but there are some seeds forming, so I'll have to collect them. Now in the main bed at the back, we've got my turnips, marigolds, spring onions just dotted around the place because we just discard the ends of the spring onions into the bed. They seem to take hold. My orange scorpion is still no bigger than the palm of my hand really. Just frustrating. You can see the buzz button in the back there. It's loving life. Turnips, exponential growth over the past couple of weeks on those. Ready to harvest soon. Clover cover crop has worked really well, if not a bit too well. My dill there, looking great. As you can see, the slugs have also enjoyed the turnips. Now my chiltepin lemon drop, if you can see it, it's not that, that's the clover. But yeah, you can just about see the chiltepin lemon drop. Hasn't ever really established into the bed. It's got a couple of flowers on it. A couple of flowers have been pollinated, but no pods. Yeah, the clover has done really well. There's a brangier at the back, no pods on that. The Belize bonnet at the back, no pods on that either. The Tiger Fang F2 seems to be putting out some reasonable sized pods now, which is good. I think that might have something to do with the fact that it was grown in the UK last year, so it's at least kind of accustomed to that. The dill is looking good. The Brazilian Starfish Yellow Cross Sugarish Peach F4 looking fantastic. Again, one of the plants that grew in the UK last year, so it's well and truly used to our weather systems. And the Aji Flormerado at the back there is looking rather good. Yeah, the flowers on this side of the bed, they're looking fantastic. Really good. Gladioli stems. And oh, look at that. Nice little, I think, cinnabar moth. I may be wrong. Lovely to see. And the chamomile in this and the bunny tail in this basket looking very good as well. Okay, now we come out to the front garden, and immediately here is the Bubblegum 7 Orange purple flower. Look at that, it's such a beautiful plant. It's such a shame that the slugs have been absolutely feasting on the leaves, as you can see there, and even some of the pods as well. Pods aren't as big as they should be. It's not had a nice time, this plant, I don't think. It's a shame, because it is beautiful. I might try growing it again, maybe indoors. But yeah, you can see there are signs of new growth coming in, but it's nowhere near as nice as I want it to look. Whereas on the Blood Ghost over here, we've got some new growth coming in on the stems. As you can see, I've put down a nice layer of bark mulch here to go with my automatic water irrigation system. Well, it's not automatic, it's manual, but it waters everything for me. But yeah, you can see new growth coming in all the way up the stem, which is a good sign. Loads of new growth coming in. It's really good to see. A couple of pods, again, they're quite small, quite stunted little pods, maybe formed before they should be. And yeah, moving on to the plant that I put together. Well, it's looking rather good in this picture, actually. The marigold is still looking good. There's a little bit of burn, I think, possibly too many nutrients added. A couple of pods coming in. It's looking really quite nice. There's nice flowers, pods, nice variegated leaves. Yeah, I'm happy with that. The Volante peach has put on some promising new growth rather than the burnt crispy stuff that we saw in the last video. You can see the flowers as well. They look more like they're supposed to. They've got one stigma and several anthers, as opposed to multiple stigmas like some of the older flowers had. But yeah, I'm happy with that. See some of the old flowers there, they look a bit crispy. Not great. Yeah, you can see kind of alien looking pod in the middle. But anyway, moving on to Capsicum rhomboideum. As you can see, fantastic looking foliage. Really happy with it. Look at that stem, so thick and woody, and it's really tall as well. Hopefully we'll see some flowers soon. Getting awful tall before they bear out flowers. Yeah, it looks really good, doesn't it? And my mini olive ricotta looks fantastic. This is just in the Barbie compost. I'm really quite impressed with how it's done, actually. We do have a single pod there. This is me realising that there is a pod on it and getting quite excited. Can't wait to taste that. Looks good. It's a shame it's only one pod. I do wish more of the flowers would turn into pods. But hey, a pod is a pod, nonetheless. So much growth on this. It's crazy how many different branches have come out of the main stem. Brilliant stuff. One of my favourite plants that I'm growing this year. Those purple flowers are fantastic. Just doing a bit of manual pollination while I'm out here. Just see if I can't get another pod to form. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see. One of the reasons we haven't really had much pollination this year is because the insect numbers have been quite low so far because it's been so cold. But yeah, moving on to my rhino plant. As you can see, the foliage is looking good. There's a couple of pods on there. It's showing signs of recovery, but once again, it's been a terrible year. So just waiting on that, really. Yeah, you can see here one of my wild ricotta crosses as well. Nice, lovely purple flowers on that. Foliage still looks quite yellow, quite unhappy. And my Texas rice plant is looking very unhappy. It's got very folded leaves. I'm sure it wants higher temperatures than what we're currently getting. The wild Bactum is looking okay, and the yellow Cyril has a lot of yellow leaves on it. The leaves which are on it are curled. It's just not a happy plant. So I've started some more seeds for that indoors. Hopefully get some pods if this one doesn't manage to get its act together. There are a couple of pods on there, but they're tiny, stunted little runts. Really frustrating issues this year with the weather. You can see I've staked it into the ground to stop it from falling over because it's very top heavy. So what I've got here is the Sweet Moruga. There's a couple of tiny little runt pods on that, but the new foliage does look healthier, I guess. Apart from the stuff that's been munched by slugs. Some new growth there at the bottom. My Naga Jalokia variegated plant is absolutely beautiful. It's covered in pods, flowers, really fantastic stuff. I really have enjoyed growing this plant. We'll see how it tastes later on in the season, I guess. Yeah, these flowers are truly beautiful. They've got like freckles of white on them, on a purple background, which is lovely. And my Lanceolatum is probably one of the happiest plants that I've got out here, actually. It's got flowers, it's got pods. The new foliage is just looking amazing. It's finally started to perk up. So should get a decent amount of pods off of that this year. And those flowers are just gorgeous. Yeah, really happy with this. There's a few odd yellow leaves on it, but nothing to worry about. And yeah, this is one of the C. Eschbolkenassi F2s. Lovely shaped flowers on all the plants that I've got in there. Some of them really quite different, but they're looking very healthy. That's the main thing. They've really taken to the weather quite well, which I'm going to assume is because the F1 was grown in the UK. This one, not so much, not so great. You can see here is an overall picture of the garden and how it's doing. It's not too bad, is it, for an experimental area? Anyway, if we move down the steps to my little garden bed that we grew potatoes in last year, as you can see, it's full of peppers. This plant's doing quite well. It's the Tiamat F3. Loads of pods, quite a few flowers, and some radishes dotted around the place as well. It's done rather well for a plant that's been put in the ground. And this is one of the flowers that I planted last year. It's a perennial flower, so it's going to stick around. See my radishes are starting to go to seed there, which is a bit worrying. Like I said, temperatures did hit about 30, so it's to be expected really. A couple of almost ripe pods on this plant, which is exciting. Looking forward to trying it. And yeah, my radishes have done reasonably well actually from a plant that was £1 at the garden centre. Not bad at all, is it? You see they're putting on quite some size to it. Some of the bulbs are. Really started to swell. And they've been mostly left alone by slugs, which is good. I might just pull this one up actually, on camera, do a little on camera harvest. Fantastic, look at the size of it, it's quite big. Yeah, I'm quite happy with the size of that, you know. Definitely worth growing radishes. Most definitely worth growing radishes. That'll clean up nicely and it'll be good for pickling, I imagine. Happy with the size of that. Yeah, as I've said, there's parsnips along the back and onions in the middle, all of which looking very healthy. I'm really happy with this bed actually this year, although the carrots have kind of succumbed to various issues. I think it was dryness, slugs, But mostly, yeah, they're looking good. And over here, we've got the submarine plant, which is looking good, isn't it? A fair few pods on the underside of there. Yeah, turned out rather nice. And actually, trying to grow in the middle of it is a volunteer pumpkin plant. Oh, little grasshopper there. This volunteer pumpkin plant, I think I'm going to keep it around. But yeah, mostly really happy with how this outdoor space has grown this year. I've got stuff popping up that I didn't really know about. I've got quite a lot of insect life around the place. But yeah, it's worked out pretty well. And here as well on the front sort of berry bushes area, they've done okay. They haven't done brilliantly. There's a few blackcurrants on this bush, but not too many. I planted it last year, so it's probably still trying to kind of find its feet, so to speak. But I will acidify the soil a bit and see if that helps, because my raspberry really does not look like it's having a nice time out here. Who can blame it? It's been a terrible year. My blackberry is doing alright. There's a few flowers, a few little blackberries forming. The blueberry is a completely different story. Blueberry's done amazingly this year. I've had quite a glut of blueberries, which I'm really happy about. And yeah, there's a couple of little flowers dotted around the place here and there. Very nice. And here is a quick 2-minute allotment tour. The white Vitale plant is looking a bit crusty still. Not really changed a day since I put it out here. My orange goosely jalapeno is still gone. There is absolutely no trace of it, as you can see. It just vanished. Disappointing, but I've started seeds for that, so I will get some this year. Tangerine Tiger F5. Just going to remove some of the weeds there. You know what? This plant's actually recovered quite well. There's new foliage on it. There's even a pod. There is even a pod on there, which is fantastic to see. Chuffed with that. Looks good there. Yeah, moving on to the Megatron jalapeno. Looking quite good. It's a bit droopy. Flowers coming in, I'm sure, very soon. But it's put on new growth, which is the main thing, of course. There's a few weeds here and there that I'm just kind of pulling out as I'm going along. Get rid of that. The Bear coffee. It's yeah, it's not great. It's not great. There's lots of droopy leaves. There's a couple of flowers, but it's not great. The Visa Poblano Gold, however, it's looking good. You know, there's quite a lot of foliage up there at the top. Some flowers trying to open. I'm sure I'll get some pods off of that. Yeah, as you can see, looks very good. Probably one of the best plants that I've got at the moment. Hopefully nothing happens to it. Coyote Zan White, it's not great, is it? Even if it does recover, there's very slim chances now. It's going to be in time. The Antep Ahi Cross Unknown, it's okay. It's got a tiny pod on it. Again, not really holding out much hope for this plant. But yeah, it's quite good. I'll unmute the microphone now and just take a walk around the allotment. Oh, you're hiding over there. Oh yeah. Yeah. Hopefully. Nice. There's a variegated bramble over here.
Everything is variegated.
I think it might just be very deficient. Yeah, others are.
I can't believe these have produced so many berries.
I know. Ooh, they look almost ready, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying here. Another couple of weeks.
How are they doing? They come off?
You still beans?
They were in the compost bin.
Why? Oh, I guess because I haven't cut down the beans.
Yeah. Look at those behind weeds, isn't that lovely?
Yeah, the chickweed is so pretty.
Chickweed is pretty.
I want it in our garden. I don't care if it's a weed. It's got lovely orange flowers.
Oh yeah. Doesn't really show up well on camera. That's better. Not really sure what this is. I think it might be possibly Jerusalem artichoke, maybe. Oh yeah, it's a bit chamomile in there. Not nice.
Yeah, Joe's bed's got loads of wild chamomile in it.
Oh yeah. I'll come right in. Have a look at that one in a minute.
Like, shut up, I don't know what it is.
Tomatoes are looking healthy. Yeah, they're ready to be pulled, I think. Look at the soil bulging where the potatoes are, and they're like ready to come up. We should tell them, shouldn't we? Yeah. There's a ladybird in the back there. How lovely. Oh, yeah, looks like there's a few tomatoes coming in. I know the pollination's been quite poor this year because there's not very many of them. Yeah. There's few little bugs. This has been cultivated, ready planted. I know. Oh yeah. Yeah. Tell you what, Nathan's got green fingers.
He really does. That rhubarb came back well, didn't it?
It did, yeah. Compared to
Red
that
mine.
one there. No, yours is in one.
And that's got loads of stuff there amongst it.
Yeah. Oh look.
What?
Tomato
Actually
flowers.
certain fruit?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Full salon. Good. This stuff is what is it? Is it rainbow chard?
Yeah.
The ends of rainbow chard, like just the flowering tips, taste like baby corn.
They really do. They really do.
I think they do.
I do.
I think they taste amazing.
I think they taste like shit. Everyone's got chamomile.
Yeah. Jealous.
Yeah.
This beetroot down here, it's looking good actually.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love the taste of beetroot. This is where we've been excavating away the soil to mound up the area over there where the polytunnel's going to go. Success. And these beans are beans.
Unruly.
Yes. And there's loads of chamomile in the bed as well.
Yeah.
Lovely. And yeah, this is yeah, that is nice. I keep thinking this is mallow because it kind of looks.
Leaves look similar.
Yeah, I'm not sure it is. Yeah, this is wild mustard. A lot of it. And there's tomatoes in this bed now. Was there tomatoes?
Yeah, she put them in a while ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're doing well. Tomatoes are really like grow anywhere, won't they?
Yeah, I mean, do you remember when you had that one growing back? But you were giving compost and you did tomatoes?
Yeah.